Okay, hello everybody. In this session we're going to look at how you would use an integrated wall sweep to create your skirting. We're going to focus on two types of skirting, one that is attached directly to the finished face of the partition, and the other which is recessed into the partition with a shadow gap. Okay, to begin we need to create a profile of the skirting board. So from the application menu, select New, Family, and we're going to pick a metric profile family template here. And we're now going to sketch a very basic outline of our skirting. So from the create area of the ribbon, select a line, and it's going to be a rectangular arrangement of lines. And I'm just going to draw them straight away in this area here. The reason for putting it here is because the wall essentially by default is here, and we want our skirting to be orientated away from the wall. So first we're going to align the left hand side line to the vertical reference plane. So type AL, pick the vertical reference plane, pick the left hand side line and lock it, and do exactly the same for the base. AL, pick the horizontal reference plane and pick the bottom line and lock. Now in order to manipulate the profile inside of the project file, I'm going to assign parameters. So first of all I'm going to give the profile dimensions. I'm going to select DI, picked the vertical reference plane, the right hand side line, and escape the command, and do exactly the same for the height. Pick the horizontal reference plane, pick the top line, and escape the command. To assign parameters, I'm going to first start with the width, pick up the width dimension, and under label select add parameter. We're literally going to call it width. It is going to be a type parameter and it will be grouped under dimensions, so it's fine, select OK, and do the same for the height. So pick dimension, under label select add parameter, name it height, and select OK. Now to give it an appropriate width and a height and a name, go to the Family Types button, and here we're going to change the width to 15mm, the height to 100, and the Family Types name is going to be literally 15 by 100. Select OK and OK. We can see that the parameters have worked and the size is set accordingly now. We now need to save the family with an appropriate name. So from the application menu, select Save As, Family. I'm going to save this as Profile Skirting Board, and I'm also going to say hosted right, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Save that, load it into the project, and we're ready to begin applying the skirting. Okay, now we need to apply the skirting to the wall. So first, pick up the wall that we want to add the skirting to. We're going to select Edit Type, and we're going to edit the assembly, and we're going to pick Sweeps. Now we don't need to load anything in, we've just done that. So simply add and pick our new profile. We have the opportunity now to give it a material. We can amend the distance from the base, which is particularly useful if you have, say, the partition based on the slab and you want to push the finishes up, or push the skirting up, sorry, to the floor finish level. We can amend whether or not the profile is based on the base of the wall or the top of the wall, and also from the external side of the wall or the internal side of the wall. We can then offset it from the external or internal side. We can flip it, which is essentially rotating it 180 degrees from its base. We can set it back from inserts such as windows and doors. We can decide whether or not the sweep cuts geometry, for instance if it were to be set back into the host. And finally, whether or not the sweep should be cut by wall insets like windows and doors. For the moment though, I'm going to leave all these settings as they are. Select OK, OK and OK, and see how the skirting looks. Something I think might have happened is the skirting has moved into the architrave, and this is where the setback option is useful. So to bring the skirting back, we need to first dimension how far it has moved into the architrave. So if we look at a plan view and then hit DI for dimension, pick the edge of the architrave, edge of the wall. In fact, I don't think it's that edge, I think it's this edge here. That's 35. So then if we return to the All Sweeps dialog box, change the setback to 35, select OK, OK and OK. I think that should have worked. So that's worked. Now in order to add a skirting on the other side, simply return to the Wall Sweeps dialog box, and we're going to add another. Pick up the same profile, and all we need to change is the side from exterior to interior. But of course make sure the setback is still 35. Select OK, 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 and it's given us skirting on both sides. Now to tidy up the end of the partition here, we pick up the wall and select Modify Returns. Now pick either end face of end face of either skirting. Select it. You can see it's moved out slightly. And now what we're going to do is select AL. We're going to align this face here to this face here. So with the Align tool current, tab over this skirting until we get that face, and then select that face, and the skirting is complete. If you are concerned about this break line here, I would suggest using under Modify the Line Work tool and Visible Lines line style, and you can hide those then. I think some people may argue that this is over modelling, but if you wanted to produce some good 3D views and potentially some renders, I think this is absolutely the right thing to do. You may even find that this particular condition is quite rare in most projects. Okay, and that's how you add a traditional skirting board. Okay, for our second type of skirting arrangement, we need to create a second profile family. So if we open up the current profile, select the right hand side line, and we're simply going to drag it to the other side of the vertical reference plane. With the line still selected, we can correct the width, which should show 15. We're now going to save this new family as exactly the same, with the exception of it being named hosted left. Save that and load it into the project. Now the reason for doing this is slightly complex. Revit reads profiles differently whether they are used as a sweep for a finish or a reveal for a recess. At present, this partition has a skirting that was created using a profile with the lines orientated to the right. Now we can move this skirting back into the partition using a negative offset, which I'll show you now. We're going to say that's minus 15. Minus 15. But because the profile lines are orientated to the right, the skirting at the end of the partition is not affected, which is obviously a problem. If the skirting board had been created using a profile with the lines orientated to the left, this would work, which I'll show you now. So we're going to change our hosted right profile to hosted left. Hosted left. Because our new profile now is essentially orientated into the wall, we don't need to give it an offset. Select OK, OK, OK. And you can see there that they have all moved into the wall, including the end piece. And to tidy up this here, I'm simply going to say AL. I'm going to find the inner face of that skirting there, and move it to it. Now, you could obviously ask, why wouldn't we start with the profile with lines orientated to the left in the first instance? And the reason is purely because of this end piece. If we were to use this current profile with the lines orientated to the left in the first instance, we would need to add an offset to push it away from the host, which I'll do now. But as you will see, this wouldn't affect the end piece, which would still be recessed. Okay, now to add the shadow gap, we need to create a new profile family type. Using our hosted right family, we are going to create a new type. I should just say that a simple means of establishing which is the right family to use is just to remember that Revit recognizes a family used for the finishes as the opposite of that used for the recesses. Because we've used the hosted left family for our skirting, we now need to use the hosted right family for our recess. So we're going to create a new family type. I'm going to name this 10 by 10, representing the 10mm by 10mm recess I want to create. Now amend the type properties to give it the appropriate width and height. Okay. Now edit the wall, edit type, edit assembly. Because we're looking at the plan, we need to change it to section to make the sweeps and reveals appear. It's not a sweep this time, it's a reveal. We add it just the same way that we would a sweep, with slightly fewer options. Both profiles are now going to be hosted right 10 by 10. They are going to be set at 100mm above the base of the skirting, and one's going to be interior. It doesn't matter which one. And select OK, and OK, and OK. And you can see that's worked quite well. And in order to finish off the end piece, we do almost exactly what we did with the skirting. So pick up the wall, modify returns, pick up the end of the reveal, and now we can see that if we pick up the returned edge, it will cut, and now we can align it to a sensible spot. You can see that's worked quite well.